What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the After Effect Podcast. I'm your host, LeBron Stephen, but you can call me L Beezy, L Boogie, Big Brian, B Brian, LB, Bronny, whatever you choose. Welcome to episode 46 of the After Effect Podcast. We have a very, very special guest, Copley native, was a local star in the Cleveland area. A laundry list of accolades, laundry list of accomplishments. Attended the University of Northwestern on a football scholarship. Started over 10 games, amassed over 100 tackles, had an amazing career from 2007 to 2011. Since then, he's been killing it in the logistics industry and is also, more importantly, an artist, immersed in creativity like myself. So we have no other than David Arnold, who's on the podcast today. What's good,
up,
bro?
Everybody? How you feeling, man?
Appreciate you joining, bro.
No, thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. So, like I was saying, this is called the After Effect Podcast or the After Effect Show. This is where we talk about we relive our journeys, our athletic journeys, but more importantly, we talk about the after effect or the aftershock of our athletic journeys as we transition into what we do now. I've always felt like that transition was minimized, right? A 10 to 20 year relationship that we've had with football. For you, I think you stopped playing at like 21, 22. I stopped playing when I was 27. Man, you got to kind of reinvent yourself and figure out life after that. I've always felt like that was minimized, so this is a free and safe space for us just to chop it up, talk games, just how we was doing 10 minutes ago.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I appreciate you joining, man.
I'm glad you're doing this too.
Yeah.
As we kind of touched on a little bit earlier, it's cool to kind of understand people's journeys. Everybody has a different story to tell.
Exactly.
Ours. There's a lot of similarities and a lot
Exactly.
of stuff that
Exactly.
is very different also. So,
Exactly.
I think that's dope you're doing this.
Exactly. I appreciate it, man. And like we was talking about on the elevator, from the outside looking in, I thought that you made the transition look really easy. Like you just dove into corporate ASAP and you worked your way up from, I think, like a coordinator to an analyst to a supervisor. And ever since then, you've been a supervisor or a manager. So from the outside looking in, it always looked to me like you were just doing your thing and the transition was easy. So it would be cool to get your perspective on how not easy it was.
Even up to right now, I'm going through some different challenges and everything, like we all are.
Exactly.
It's been a crazy 2020.
Exactly.
21, we off to some interesting stuff.
Exactly. Hey, you already know, and we gonna get to it. So first off, man, I've always felt like we were more than athletes. So just let me get your take on just some current events. What is your take on a Big Ten alumni like we are, Tom Brady, even though he went to Michigan, getting his 7th ring, something that nobody ever thought that he would get, but I've always felt close to his situation because he played in the Big Ten, and the only people who really know what that's like is if you played in it and you were alumni of playing in the Big Ten, and we're both Big Ten alumni. So what's your take on just him still doing it at 43, 7 rings and all that?
To be doing it at 43 in the manner that he is, performing at that high of a level.
I'm telling you.
It's wild, really, because
Right.
I know at 21, like you said, my body was like, "Hey, man, it's time to
Right.
chill out a little
Right.
bit." So,
It might be over.
that's great. I'm very happy for him.
Right.
I was born in Ann Arbor.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? So I got
wow.
Michigan
Wow.
ties.
Okay.
Michigan ties. My dad played at my biological father played at Michigan.
Michigan, yeah, okay.
He was a DB, so I grew up in Ann Arbor.
Wow, I didn't know that.
A Wolverine at birth.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I was born at the University of Michigan Hospital.
Okay.
So very happy for him.
Yeah,
that's GOAT
yeah.
status.
Exactly.
7 rings is
More than anybody. Yeah.
And then to see him do it on a different team than what we're used to seeing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With the Patriots, he rocked out so long, and now with a team who has struggled.
Like you say, GOAT status. You
That's
can't.
another story.
Exactly. I totally agree. I've always just been proud that obviously we're in Atlanta now, and when I meet people, they always, like when you tell them you play in the Big Ten, you're from Ohio, they always say, well, why you down here? What you like, what? Right, it's SEC country, so everybody, what? Like, you play in the Big Ten? Okay, that's cool. What you doing down here then? Like, this not really your neck of the woods. So it's always cool to, like, be proud to be a Big Ten guy, to see guys like that amassing certain things, doing things that people say they can't do, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's cool, man. So, Let me get your take on, what is your take on the current state of the world, right? We just got a new president. Racial injustices have finally come on the forefront. People are really starting to pay attention to what it is to be black, how many disadvantages we're at. We're almost at a calendar year of a coronavirus pandemic that we've never ever walked through. All these different things that happened from 2020, and here we're still here in 2021. What's your current state? How have you been able to keep your focus on, just keeping the main thing, and not getting too high, not getting too low? What's your take on just how you living right now?
I think you just touched on it, man. Keep the main thing. I mean, again, there's been so many challenges. I just moved to Atlanta from Columbus.
Yeah.
Okay, Columbus, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And so, boom, right there, I was living downtown, the protests and all that,
Mm-hmm.
I even got out there and I participated in that. That was a very, I don't know, it was.
I know that was a hell of an experience.
Time,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Being out there, I mean, there was 2 folks right there in Columbus, Ohio, killed.
Yeah.
By the police stuff going on out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at the end of the day, it's one of those things we got to continue to push through.
Exactly.
I think more than ever, often it seems like there's so much more awareness and eyes on the situation.
Right.
It's created some conversations that maybe haven't necessarily taken place. I mean, even some of my friends, they're like, it's eye-opening to a lot of folks, especially people that are not of our color.
Right.
So,
that don't look like us.
Those uncomfortable conversations need to take place, though, because we have to change and continue to move forward, and the only way to do that is to get some folks out of their comfort zone.
Exactly. Talk that talk, man. I can attest to that. That was the main word. I heard you say emotional, and that was the main word for me during this whole time. Matriculating through the coronavirus pandemic was, I felt myself getting emotional just thinking back on different times, whether it was in Cleveland and we wanted to go out to Chagrin Falls or go to Menor Mall and getting targeted because we're big black guys. Mm-hmm. We was raised the right way, never been arrested, never been in trouble, but just being marginalized because of how we look. Yeah. Before anyone even gets to know us or anything like that, just people having these preconceived notions. And then going back to Iowa City, and I'm sure you can attest to this in Evanston, going back to, we both went to PWIs, even though it's in the Big Ten, but going into gas stations, going into different places. While for the most part, it was all love and everybody knew who we were. Mm-hmm. It was some instances where some people didn't know who we were. And you would get weird looks and you would get weird behaviors from people because you were black.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I remember being on campus, right? Freshman year, I was living in the dorms. I was walking down the sidewalk. And yeah, it was probably like 9-10 p.m. Okay, but I'm just dressed in casual clothes, walking down the sidewalk. There was a Caucasian female student. Mm-hmm. She was probably like 20 yards ahead of me, but I'm just walking. I remember her looking back. She literally took off across the street, Sheridan Road, busy road on campus. Took off across the street.
Because she probably never even walked past a black person.
Some of those experiences, it's like, man, really? Because I come from a very diverse background, family. Mm-hmm. I went to public schools growing up. A lot of people at Northwestern come from private schools.
Right,
got
that's true.
Totally different backgrounds
that's
and
true.
experiences.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, for a lot of folks that I was in class with, they didn't really know black people like that.
They didn't even know how to be around that kind of culture,
interact, again, being in some of these group settings in the classroom environment, uncomfortable situations. And it took a while before I was able to actually, okay, hey, this is what it is at Northwestern. Because for a while I wanted to transfer. Yeah. Growing up, I always thought I was going to be at this big public school. Be the big man on campus like ASAP. But it was different at
Northwestern. I already know.
You got people that they're going to be doctors. They're
cancer, it's all academics. It's all
a lot of their focus was even You know, yay high. Okay, here I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna do this.
Right. And a lot of times, those kind of people have a lot of ego. They have a lot of, they feel like they're better than you because they're trying to be a doctor, because they're trying to, and they come from those private school backgrounds.
And, you know, being a student athlete, very rigorous schedule.
Right.
Okay, so sometimes, I would be straight from practice to the classroom, sitting in the first row.
Right.
Okay. You know, part of success, right, is just showing up to class, making sure that you're present. You're engaged. You're able to interact with the professor
and students
and yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
But you got folks looking at you like, how is this dude in the same class as me?
Right.
And it's
did that ever make you feel uncomfortable? Because for me, like you say, it was a culture shock. I had to get used to being in a class of 200, and it was maybe two black people in there. For me, I felt like I had to just become numb to when you see the different behaviors and you see the kind of the subtle disrespect. I had to become numb to it because I felt like that was the only way that I would survive. That's the only way I wouldn't pop off. That's the only way I wouldn't turn aggressive or upset. Even though I saw some weird behaviors, I just felt like I had to become numb to it. And that's what made it emotional for me, diving back into those experiences, because we've had to become numb to it for so long, and now we're in our 30s and we still going through it. We're still going through it. Like whether it's in the corporate world, like we in entertainment industry, any kind of industry, we're still going through it. So it's like while we're doing so much, while our culture is doing so much to change that, it still feels like it hasn't really changed at all.
Being at Northwestern, you know, there was more so than not, you know, okay, it's a smaller school, right? So the class, that's one of the things that actually attracted me to Northwestern.
Okay.
I've always been better off in a smaller setting.
Yeah.
You can, engage.
More hands-on,
group. You can get involved in like a group setting and have little discussions and all that, opposed to like a gigantic lecture class. That was a better fit for me.
I got you.
Which is one of the things that I actually did really like about it.
Definitely, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. So man, let's dive into your childhood. So I know, at first I thought you were born in Akron, but you said you were born in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So obviously, we're both in our 30s now, and this always makes me feel old. But we didn't grow up like a generation now. We didn't have internet, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have video, we didn't have none of these things. We was born in 89, 90. We really used to be outside. We really used to have to interact with each other. We used to have to find fun. Used to have to make up things to do to have fun, right? So paint me a picture on how it was growing up in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and then once you moved from there to Akron, just paint me a picture on how that was, just the nostalgia or the culture growing up in Michigan and growing up in Ohio for you, from your viewpoint.
Yeah. So, like I said, my biological father played at Michigan. Okay, so I grew up huge Michigan fan. Wanted to go to school there, play football, do the whole thing there. My childhood was very fun. Like you said, I was outside, okay? Playing 500 in the backyard, dead or alive, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
A lot of outdoor activities. Just always been into sports. Baseball was actually my first love.
Okay.
A lot of video games.
Did you play baseball at Copley or just like?
I did actually.
Okay.
I moved to Akron after 6th grade. So
okay.
That was big for me too, because my stepdad is from Akron, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
So he always wanted to get back to his hometown.
To the roots.
He went to Eastern Michigan.
Okay.
My mom was from Ann Arbor. That's where they met.
Okay, I got you.
So my stepdad's been in my life since I was 3 years old, and
awesome.
He's Greek actually. So
okay.
Again, that diversity has been a part of my life ever since I was very, very young.
Yeah.
But very fun. Parents always preach, okay, look, you gotta be able to get your classwork done, do well in school, and then you'll have an opportunity to play football, baseball, basketball, outside with your friends.
Yeah.
Because if you don't take care of your books,
you're not gonna
do that, okay?
Right. It's a no-go. Yeah.
Chores,
my parents was the same way. Yeah.
That was how it was growing up.
Books first.
But my parents, they kind of spoiled me, and they wanted the best for me. I had a very, very fun childhood.
Awesome.
Wouldn't change it for nothing. But after 6th grade is when we actually moved to Akron, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I started in the Copley school system and all that.
Yeah.
And going into 7th grade, that's a tough time. You know how kids are too.
Yeah.
So,
7th grade, I feel like is when I remember 7th grade was when my behavior was the worst. I was getting into girls. I wasn't doing my schoolwork. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's when I feel like you really starting to find yourself.
And
like,
it's a goofy looking stage too. So,
right. You getting acne.
You
got a little mustache. Yeah. You start to get muscles a little bit. Like,
so I was trying to grow in my big head and everything. And I remember when I moved. Luckily, the thing that helped me when we moved, because I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
Football started in the summer.
Okay.
Right. So
you met all your teammates.
To meet people through sports.
Right.
All right. So the transition wasn't quite as bad as if I didn't have that.
Yeah.
And because I was, I was competing at a high level.
Right.
I was able. Guys would look at me and this guy's pretty decent actually.
Right.
I kind of earned some respect that way.
Right.
Which made making some friends a little better for me. But I remember when I moved, people didn't really know me, and they would always say, "Oh, well, the new guy's pretty decent, but he'll never be good as one of these other guys that was, from Akron and everything."
Yeah,
so there
I
was
got
these
you.
Comparisons and all that. And
always comparisons. I got you.
Always. And that used to drive me crazy. Like,
I can only imagine.
What do you mean I'm not as good as this guy?
Right.
You're right. I'm better. So, that was just a confidence thing. But of course, I was always humble.
Right.
I wasn't talking crazy to folks or anything like that. But,
so when you moved to Akron, had you heard about LeBron James already, or because I found out about him in the 5th grade. I was 10 years old. I still remember 1999. I was 10 years old. My father took me to a St. Mary game. They was playing St. Joe's. It was at St. Joe's gym, and I sat in the crowd like I couldn't believe that it was another guy with my same name. He was only in the 9th grade, but they was already saying he was going to be the best player. And I remember he had the fro, no facial hair, and my dad a jokester. So he like, man, I never seen a dude that could really hoop like that. I was slew-footed because he walked like this with his feet out like this. And then he was 14, and we saw him go crazy. Like 2017, 9, I was 10 years old, and ever since then, I was like, man, I'm gonna play football and basketball. I don't know which one it's gonna be, but I'm gonna be a dog just because I was just motivated because of LeBron James. So, but you said you hadn't heard of him yet. So when did you hear about him living in Akron?
So I went to Copley.
Okay.
And my homie Cam, Joyce.
Yeah. Okay. I remember.
Introduced me to the whole. I mean, people knew about him.
Yeah.
Cam went to Copley.
Okay.
So me and Cam played on the 7th and 8th grade basketball team. We went undefeated.
Okay.
Of course, Cam's dad was the head coach.
Yeah, Drew Joyce. Yeah. Okay.
Joyce,
okay.
And then his older brother.
So he went to Copley Middle School.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you.
And so we were on an undefeated team. LeBron actually came to Copley a couple times. He checked out one of our games and stuff.
Yeah.
That was a big deal.
Yeah, I already know.
Of course, he just kept
better. Right.
Bigger and bigger.
And before we know it,
Illustrated, all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
LeBron ended, he ended up coming to a game when we played. I was playing at Green. We had a football game against Green. He had bought his mom a house out there in Green.
Okay.
And he was on the sideline at one of our Copley versus Green League games.
Yeah. But Brian always messed with like Akron, Northeast Ohio in general, but Akron more than Cleveland, more than anywhere else because that's specifically where he's from.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So I'm sure I've always felt like any kids from Akron or that grew up in Akron had that battery in their back because of how he put on. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. That's my favorite basketball player.
Same here.
330. Got the big old palace down the street from my parents' crib. So.
Okay. Yeah, and I know he's had that crib for a long time. Yeah. So yeah, man, talk about like when you started coming to your own. For me, if you're a top athlete, Division I athlete, you know when that switch hit on, right? For me, it was like 10th grade. I started started varsity football in 9th grade, started varsity football in 10th grade, but I had like an all-league year in 10th grade. Then the letters started coming, and then the offers started coming from like the MAC and all that. And then like I had a little growth spurt. I got stronger. Like when that light switch kind of hit on, it's like you start kind of coming into your own. Like, okay, so when was that time for you? Was it 10th grade, 11th grade?
Yeah. So Coach Borman, that was he ended up going to St. V and being a coach there. That's where he started a long time ago. But Coach Dan Borman was my high school coach.
Okay.
And he had a rule: he would not play freshmen on varsity.
Yeah. I know a lot of schools like that.
Years prior to me getting there, he started a freshman, ended up getting hurt. So he was like, "All right, this is my rule, okay? Not until your sophomore year."
But
So
Beanie Wells from Akron, right?
Yeah, he.
Did he play varsity his freshman year?
Yeah, but he didn't go. He went to Garfield.
Okay, I'm about to say because I know he was a dog.
He was huge.
He was my size at running back.
Yeah. I was actually. My parents had started me young in school.
Yeah.
So
you was younger than everybody.
I was younger than everybody. I graduated at 17.
Okay.
Just a year driving and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So, sophomore year is when I started varsity.
Okay.
I was starting safety, and I was competing. I was making plays. I was having fun.
Mm-hmm.
But the weight room wasn't really my deal there.
Yeah.
So sophomore is when I kind of started feeling myself a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm the youngest dude out there on the field. And
Same
I'm
here.
out with the seniors.
You was probably the only sophomore on varsity. Like I was out the same way for me.
The older chicks and everything.
Yeah.
And then junior year rolled around, and that's when I really started balling out for real.
Right. You became that guy.
Junior year was really when it really hit.
Yeah, it's funny, man, because I was telling Mabes, I've always been super tapped into just the whole Northeastern Ohio sports scene. We were in the same class, and I remember hearing about you in 2007, and then the rivals list came out, and the camp grind, the camp circuit, and I just remember always hearing you and Mabes' name. I'm like, man, these dudes seem like beasts. Like, I'm like, okay, so I just remember always being tapped in, like, and then I saw on the rivals list, I think you came out at like 26 in the state, and I think I was 17, or I was 16, Mabes right behind me at 17. So I was always tapped into that diaspora, like of just the sports culture in Northeast Ohio, because I've always felt like Ohio is a football state. Now, yes, the best basketball player did come from the state of Ohio, but even LeBron started off loving football more than basketball. Ohio is a football state in general.
And there was a point, I almost ended up going to Warren G. Harding for high school.
Okay.
My dad is from Warren. My biological father is from Warren, Ohio. My uncle has been the head coach out there for.
And Warren Harding always has some dogs too.
He's been going back and forth with high school basketball and football.
Yeah.
And powerhouse.
Yeah, Mario Manningham, Boom Heron. He came out 2007 with us.
There was a point where I knew Coach Borman. He wasn't gonna play me as a freshman. I'm like, there was a moment. I'm like,
I'm about to go to Warren.
What you talking about?
I'm about to go to Warren and start.
All right, keep playing with me. But
Yeah. I already know, man. So I know you kind of talked about what went into your decision to go to Northwestern, because like it was a smaller university, and that's what you kind of matriculated to as far as learning. Yeah. You absorb information better in a smaller learning environment. But were there any other universities during the recruiting process that you were really close to considering, or that you kept a close contact with? Like, how was your recruiting process?
I almost went to Indiana.
Okay.
I was really tapped in. Beautiful campus.
Yeah, I like Indiana too.
Coach Het, he was the head coach at the time.
Yeah.
Awesome guy. He was going through some health issues. I remember we had lunch. My mom and I went out to IU. Yep. Had lunch with
short drive, or like 4 hours from Cleveland, something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was like 4.5, and it was more southern, so it was a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I like that. Didn't have the strongest program at the time, right?
Right. Yeah, there wasn't. Yeah.
I was gonna have an opportunity to start very early.
Right. I should have considered it more.
Yeah, still playing, Big Ten football and all that.
Exactly.
But I knew his health wasn't in the best shape.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up passing away, unfortunately. But IU, Syracuse was another school I was considering.
Okay.
I had my homie DeLon Carter.
I remember DeLon Carter.
He went to Syracuse, so he was already up there.
Yeah, I remember him.
And the Big East, I never really saw myself playing there.
Playing Big East, yeah, me either.
But I took a visit out there. It was so cold, bro. I was like, man.
Oh yeah, anywhere in New York, you already know.
I was like that, and being out in New York.
Yeah, that's a different beast. Yeah,
I'm gonna stay a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Go to Big Ten routes.
Right.
Those were kind of my other couple of schools that I was really considering. I had other offers. I remember I was like a sophomore. I went to a 1-day camp at Ashland University. They tried to offer me as a sophomore or whatever.
Ashland?
Yeah.
What was they like? D3, D2?
It was crazy.
What was Ashland like? D3, D2?
Yeah, it was like D2.
Okay.
It might have been D3. I don't know.
Yeah. I remember they was purple. I remember that.
Yeah, it was purple. It wasn't that far, but it was wild.
Yeah.
They was supposed to be looking at some seniors, and they
ended up liking you. Yeah, no doubt, man. So you chose Northwestern. You graduate from Copley High School as a local star, a decorated player, like I said. I read through all the laundry lists of accolades and accomplishments. I try to remember some of them, but it was so many. So you go to Northwestern. Talk about your transition from Akron, Ohio to Chicago. I know you redshirted in 2007, just like I did. We were kind of on the same path. We both redshirted. So was that transition hard for you? Did it take you a while to get comfortable on campus until you started kind of feeling comfortable like you were supposed to be there? Talk about that transition a little bit.
Yeah. So going to Northwestern, the other thing that was cool, first time in a big city, Chicago. It was just a little bit north of Chicago, and I wanted to take that opportunity to spend some time in a bigger city. It turned me on to some other stuff. It was a rough transition for me.
Yeah, me
because
too.
like I said, I come from a diverse background, public schools, just a lot of different challenges for me. I know freshman year, man, I had a girlfriend in high school, so I left her. She was a year below me.
Okay. She thought it was gonna work.
I'm not gonna say no names, but yeah,
she thought it was gonna work out.
That was my sweetheart right there.
Yeah.
Went to Hanukkah and everything, so
that's like the movies. The older boyfriend goes to college.
Yeah. So I was like, this sucks. But we ended up breaking up when I got to school.
Yeah.
I was in camp, man, going through 2 days. I remember I got a call late night, man. One of my best friends, I found out, ended up being killed in a car accident. So that had happened, right?
Yeah.
Right around the same time.
As soon as you got there. As soon as you got to school.
As soon as I got out there. He was actually traveling on his way out to college.
Okay, wow.
So I ended up having to go back to Akron for the funeral and everything like that. That was tough, man.
Yeah.
Because that was the first time anybody close to my age.
Yeah. Passed like that.
You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of crazy, man.
Yeah. Kind of like an out of body experience almost.
Yeah,
like.
that was some wild stuff right there. So
yeah.
R.I.P. Verge. What else happened? It was a transition. So now I'm in college, trying to figure it out,
get used to the schedule.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I was competing. I was about to start as a true freshman at 17. A few days before the first game, I'm going down to practice, get tangled up with somebody on special teams, end up tearing my meniscus, end up having a red shirt.
That's why you red shirted. Okay.
That's why
injury.
I red shirted.
Okay.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
Especially a few days before the first game.
Right. That's just your normal practice, because I remember 2008 you came on and you did really well on like special teams and backup duty. Every time you came in, you made plays. 2008 for me, I was mostly special teams. I would only get in when it was blowouts. I got some snaps in some games 2008. But I just remember 2009, I was telling Mabes, because Mabes had like a good year 2008 as a redshirt freshman. But 2009, I remember just both of y'all like slick going off, like, and obviously I think we got up to like 9-0. I told Mays before we lost to y'all, because fucking Corey Wood come around that edge
Stanzi.
and break Stanzi's ankle. We had y'all up 14-0. It looked ugly at first, but I just thought, man, I thought that I was so proud, one, to like know y'all, know that y'all was from the same area as me, but at the same time see y'all balling for another Big Ten university. I felt like UMH really did y'all thing in 2009. So just talk about that season, man, going from red shirt, obviously, like you said, man, seeing one of your best friends pass, having to go to that funeral, and still just thinking about not really being sure if college was for you during that time, 2007, and then going to 2008, getting better, in 2009, having like a hell of a year, and you know what I mean, going to a bowl game and all that, and having a good year, you know, with one of your bros, man. So just talk about like the ebbs and flows of that, because like we know in a journey, good, bad, you gotta stay even keel with the highs and the lows, but it was like, it went from low to high for you.
I'm gonna take it back, still talking about freshman year, man. So on top of the things I've already mentioned, winter we're on a quarter system.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fast paced. It's like it's boom, boom, boom.
You're learning a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of material quick.
Yeah.
So freshman year, I'm already going through it. It's cold as shit, dog. It's cold as shit in Evanston.
That Illinois code a little different. That windy code a little different.
We had winning edge, dog, which you gotta wake up at like 4:30. You're not allowed to have no car on campus freshman year.
Yeah.
So I had to wait outside for the bus or somebody to pick you up. I mean, it is freezing, dog.
Yeah. Windy City.
I was taking some tough class. I was in the most basic math class you can get at Northwestern, but because it's Northwestern,
I'm about to say, what's
so basic.
What's the basic class at Northwestern?
I had
Like,
this Korean professor, didn't speak good English.
Okay.
So I'm going through it. I'm going to all the extra, hour after hours and trying to get some tutoring and all that.
Yeah.
Just to try to pass this class.
Yeah. I can only
in
imagine.
The class. I got like a D in the class at the time. I got some time to get it up, but I messed around. I was so stressed out at the time. I ended up getting shingles.
Wow.
You know what shingles is?
I heard of it before.
Bruh, it was on I had like this rash on my forehead. It was hurting. So it had me in bed for like a week.
Wow.
And I'm just struggling. I'm just trying to get through it. I'm just trying to get through the day. And so that was a tough point as well.
Yeah. Sound like it.
So what really helped me get through this stuff is that I was there with some of my homies through the whole recruiting process. Me and a group of the black folks that we were all in the same recruiting class.
Yeah.
We were really close through the whole recruiting process.
Yeah.
We were close in freshman year. I remember we'd just be sitting at the cafeteria in one of the dorms, just talking about like, man, I don't know, G. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it, man. Like,
right.
Get the fuck out of here. Talking about transfer all the time, but that really helped us too. I mean, like I said earlier, once you're able to kind of just take a step back and be like, wow, I'm at this.
Yeah, kind of center yourself and just figure it out.
This is what it is. Let's make the best of it.
Right.
That's when we were able to move forward. That's when I was able to start having some fun.
Yeah.
And just keep getting better and start focusing on keep the main thing.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So like you said, that next year we started balling out,
making
plays, having fun, and just we knew we had each other and we were gonna get through it. Exactly.
No doubt, man. That's a powerful story. So, what moments stood out to you during your 4.5 year career at Northwestern? Obviously, I just talked about you are upsetting our perfect season.
The perfect season, yeah.
We were 9-0, number 4 in the country. Everyone was looking at the next week because we played Ohio State in the shoe, and that was the Big Ten championship. We were both undefeated, so everyone was looking up to that. No one was expecting Corey Wootman to come around that edge and break Stanzi's ankle and us lose to y'all. So what moments stood out to you? Because I just remember Northwestern always being high on our list, like in preparation. We always remember that you all played really tough. We were known for playing tough too, but you all played tough as well and always went to really cool bowl games. And whether you played at SEC school or a Big 12 school, you always played them tough. So like any moments stood out to you during your career there?
I can't really say there's a moment, man.
Yeah.
The way I feel about it, it's just like if you ask me what's my favorite song, I can't tell you. There's so many good ones. There's so many favorite songs I have.
Yeah. I love that perspective.
You know what I'm saying? there were
So many,
I mean,
you can't.
It's really just some of the memories I have. Just the locker room talk.
Right.
You never
right.
get that back.
Exactly.
Those are some of the best,
locker room vibes.
Yeah, that's some of the best times you have. The pregame
Right.
meal, the night before a game.
Right.
We would
little snack, your little ice cream.
We used to
cookies.
watch 24. Like we watch an episode of 24 each week.
I got
during
you.
the season.
Yeah.
After we have our meal and everything.
Yeah.
Just those type of bonding
I'm telling you,
experiences with your
man.
homies. You don't get that. It's not many people that get that vibe.
Bro, it's so funny that you say that. I just interviewed defensive tackle from the New England Patriots, Carl Davis. He just completed year 6 in the league. He went to Iowa, so we've been tight.
Yeah.
But I asked him that same question, and he brought that up. He said, bro, like, he been in locker rooms. He done played for all these great teams. Right now he playing under Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
But he was like, bro, like, it's nothing like the atmosphere in the locker room in college or the atmosphere in the weight room in college. He was like, man, I miss that. He's like, I miss that camaraderie, because he said the NFL is not like that. It's just a job.
Yeah.
Everybody got families. Nobody is really looking to combine or bind like we did in college, man. So it's funny that you said that, because even NFL guys are bringing that up, like the way that you were able to bond in the locker room talk. And it was authentic, and it was it was pure. You know what I mean?
Not many people get to experience that, man.
Exactly.
Not many people get to experience that.
And I told him that too. It's like, you can only really explain what it was like. You had to be there. Like you had to walk through it to know like what that feels like. So yeah, I appreciate that perspective, man. So talk about, like, when you were done with your Northwestern career, did you want to even look at playing at the next level, whether it was NFL, CFL, or did you kind of know that your time in college, you really enjoyed that and you wanted to just strike out into the workforce, whether that was corporate or entrepreneurial, or what was that transition like?
My whole college career, I had a battle of injuries.
Yeah.
When I was healthy, I started. Unfortunately, I just couldn't stay healthy.
Right.
After college, I went out to Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
After the bowl game, which I played in, basically just special teams, so I had a tweaked hammy at the time and a bad ankle.
Yeah.
So, I went out to Charlotte. I was training for pro day and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I had an agent.
Yeah.
So I spent about 3 months in Charlotte training and just working out, all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
Went back to Evanston. I worked out for
Pro day.
every scout in
Yep.
the NFL.
Yeah.
At Northwestern, I didn't perform well on my pro day because I was banged up and all
Yeah.
that. So I was disappointed.
Yeah.
And then after that, I went back to Akron, waiting on a call, see if somebody would,
Pick you
me
up. Yeah, here's something.
And
Same here. I was in
my
Cleveland.
mind, I was like, what do you want to do? Like, your body feels like shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Do you want to go play in the Arena League? Do you want to try to go up to Canada?
Right.
Because there were some options for me.
Right.
But at that time, I was like, man,
is it worth it?
my body's. I think it's time.
The
to
body
just
was
give it a
already.
rest.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
yeah, of course, it's always been my dream to go to the NFL and all
Like
that.
all of us, yeah.
But from a physical standpoint, it's like, yo,
You can feel it.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy part. And it's funny that you had that maturity at such a young age, because some guys will try to fight through it. But like, I think when it's time, whether you're 22, whether you're 27, whether you're 25.
The way I was looking at it, I was like, man, I could go try to do this, play football, in these other leagues, making, what?
Pennies,
Not
not shit, yeah.
Or I could just go ahead and try to start my professional career.
Yeah.
In
Which
the
make more
business
sense.
world.
Exactly.
And so I'm like, man, I went to school, I got my degree. That's what we all go to school for at the end
Exactly,
of the day.
exactly.
Make sure you get that degree.
Exactly.
I had it, but now it's like, damn, what am I gonna do with it now?
Yeah.
So for a while, I just chilled out, man. Honestly,
Yeah.
I had a little bit of money saved up or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Chilled
I
out,
just took
wanted
some
to figure
time,
it out.
traveled, visited
Yeah.
some friends, hung out with family that I didn't get to see.
Exactly.
For the past 5 seasons.
Exactly. Because you're on that grind.
So I was just kicking it, enjoying my life for a minute. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying?
Like you're supposed
And
to.
there was a point in time where the money ran out. Right?
Yeah.
I'm living back in Akron with the family.
Yeah. And it's time
My
to get to
mom's-
it.
My mom's over here in my ear like, yo, what? You can't be coming. This is not college. You can't be coming home at
Yep.
2:30,
Yep.
lit, making
Yep.
all this noise, hungry. Got the, you know what I'm saying? Trying to eat late at night, slam the covers and shit.
Okay.
You know,
Looking for food.
Yeah. So me and
That's what real life set in. Like,
yeah. And so there was a point where she was just like, "Yo, this is cool and all, but you gotta go figure some shit out real quick." So I'm like, "Damn, okay, I can go try to find a job." I'm like, I don't even know what I want to do at this point,
right?
Because you get to a point where you've worked your entire life to get to a certain level, right? As far as you can go with this sports stuff.
Exactly.
And we made it pretty damn far.
Further than a lot of guys. Further than a lot of guys, exactly.
Right. So I had to do some digging. It's like,
soul searching.
Now I gotta figure out what else am I passionate about besides sports, besides playing football.
Exactly.
What do you want to do?
Exactly.
And after I didn't know.
Right.
And so even though I had a degree from Northwestern,
which is
really
a prestigious,
prestigious. I mean, top 15 in the country, right?
Exactly, yeah.
I ended up going through a temp agency. I didn't even
to get on with, what was that, Excel or DHL? To get on with them?
There was a couple things that I knew that I wanted out of an opportunity. And that was to get in with a reputable company, and I wanted to stay somewhere near home for a while, right?
Yeah.
And so I went through a temp agency, and there was a couple different opportunities where they could place me. There was Debo Securities, and then there was Goodyear headquarters through Excel Logistics, which is a third-party logistics company.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, I can get on at Goodyear, or I could be working at Goodyear headquarters. That's dope. Let's try that out.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. They placed me there. I was on site at headquarters. I was working as a transportation coordinator.
Yeah. Because I saw you climb that ladder rather quickly from coordinator to analyst to supervisor. Yeah.
So I was.
Was that just kind of like timely? You just showing up every day, doing what you got to do, kind of bringing that football attitude to the corporate. Yeah.
Again, I started as a temp. I got hired on full time with Excel.
Yeah.
After a very short period, and then I was able to get promoted a few times within just internally there, and after a while, I got kind of bored in the office setting. I was like, man, doing the same
shit every day, every week, same old shit every week.
I was like, let me think about this a little bit.
Yeah.
While I was there, though, I was able to establish some pretty cool relationships. I was working next to one of the directors in the office and everything. Okay. Kind of picking folks' brain, and one of the things that I learned was that there's some decision makers that had never really seen the other side of things. And when I say the other side, that's like behind the scenes, out in the warehouse, out in the field, opposed to the office setting. So I was like, well, that sounds interesting. Plus, I'm not in the office. It sounds like something different. So let me check this out. So I was able to fly down to Georgia, and check.
That was when you moved to Macon. That was in Macon, right?
No, I moved to Stockbridge when I first moved.
Oh, Stockbridge. Okay.
Because Excel had Goodyear had a warehouse in Stockbridge. Okay. And Excel was running the 3PL. That was
I got you.
Managing their business. Yeah. And so I went out there. That was the first time really spending any time in the South, and everything was so green and it was warm.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I could
a lot warmer than Ohio or Illinois.
And so I took the opportunity. It was a supervisor role. And
how did it feel being a supervisor at such a young age? You was like, what, 25, 24, 25?
23.
Like in a supervisor role, like, how was that? At such a young age, just a lot of learning and growth every week.
It was a little bit uncomfortable because you got
older people and looking at you crazy.
50, like, who is this young kid?
I already know. God damn it, I've been here 15 years.
Yeah. So it was interesting at first, you know what I'm saying?
To say the least, I already know.
I didn't have that experience, but it gave me an opportunity to develop those leadership skills and start to develop more professionally. You know?
Absolutely.
So I decided to go that route and start. Might as well start. You gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
And instead of chasing the arena league and
right,
pennies basically.
Exactly. You just dove right into it. Exactly.
Let's get into it.
And man, that's cool because you moved from coordinator to analyst to supervisor, and you've been a supervisor since then. So now, all those experiences leading you into now being a senior production manager with just all these experiences, all this experience, what 10 to 12 years of experience now. What stood out to you like during that journey for anybody that's watching or listening that maybe at those crossroads like we were, a fresh graduate, have you want to go and play and pursue the dream, maybe play arena, do CFL like I did, or maybe have you had went through injuries and like you and immediately jumped into the corporate world. What were some things that stood out to you, that you could give to the next generation, as we try to push the culture forward, if we have any younger listeners or viewers?
I would just say be open to different opportunities.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to change.
Yeah.
Take a risk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What's the worst that can happen, right? Somebody says no,
right.
Try it out.
Right.
Go check out a new city.
Right.
You never know what's on the other side, really.
Exactly.
I mean, I love Atlanta. I love Georgia.
Exactly.
I love living in the South. It's warm. It's much warmer down here.
Yeah, you ain't got to deal with the snow.
That Evanston winning experience.
Iowa, Illinois, Ohio, that snow is different. That's
so
different.
You go through these different phases in life and the journey, right? You learn what you like, you learn what you don't like. And
right.
Through
those experiences. Yeah.
That's got me in the position I'm in now.
Yeah.
Like you said, I'm a senior production manager right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over 120 people, right? So
amazing.
It's been good.
Yeah.
It's been good.
2 more questions, man. Would you say that like that fearlessness, like you said, like to start off at Excel in Ohio and then move to Georgia, just because of the job, and then going back to Ohio and then coming back to Georgia, but just having that fearlessness to say, okay, I'm gonna dive into this full force, whether I'm in Ohio, whether I'm in Georgia. Mm-hmm. Would you say that football contributed to that a little
Absolutely.
bit? Because
100%.
when I moved to Georgia back in 2013, I didn't have a plan. I had some friends, I had some interviews lined up, but I didn't know if I was gonna land any jobs. But I was fearless. I wanted to experience a new city. I wanted to experience the South. I had never been down here. I wanted to experience that. It was nothing holding me back. There was no fear, but talking to other friends, talking to family members, people always ask me and want me to explain more in detail, like, man, how did you do that? Like it was like you made it look easy, but when in retrospect, it's really not easy. And I was like, I never thought of it like that, but I saw you kind of did the same thing. So did football contribute to that? Any just that fearless mindset? Look, you moving somewhere, you knowing that no, I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna make it shape.
It's in you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I play safety, so when you play DB, you're on an island a lot of times.
Yeah.
You gotta go meet somebody in the hole.
Yeah.
The Big
you either gonna make that.
Backs.
Yeah. You either gonna make.
Big backs.
You either gonna make that play or you ain't.
You gotta meet him in the hole sometime, right?
Yeah,
so you gotta tackle problems. You gotta tackle life's challenges at
Man,
you.
I'm telling you.
The same way.
I'm telling you.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's powerful.
If I can meet somebody in the hole that's bigger than me, in front of 100,000 people.
Yo, Le'Veon Bell's when he was
millions of people watching on TV.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You make the play.
Yeah.
And you might miss some, but take the opportunity.
9 out of 10, you're gonna make it.
Take the opportunity, man.
That's a great analogy, man. When you say, you got to meet somebody like Le'Veon Bell who's still playing in the league. You got to meet him in the hole, head on, in front of 100,000 with 1 million watching. Yeah. That's nothing compared to. I mean, when you compare that to managing 80 to 120 people, that's not even on the same plane.
I mean,
but we did that.
The mental toughness that you develop through sports.
Exactly. It helps you get through.
Now I'm just. I used to tackle in the arena. Now I'm just tackling the corporate world.
Right, man. That's so powerful, and I hope everyone takes something from that. Last question, bro. What would you say is David Arnold's after effect from the 10 to 20 football relationship that you had, from jumping into the corporate world so early to having so much success in the past 10 years, being a supervisor at such a young age? But and also I want to highlight you delving into creativity. I think. I know you got a couple songs on iTunes. I've been tapped in. I think a lot of people look at athletes weirdly, and I can attest to this because I got into acting 3 years ago. But anytime an athlete goes into creativity, where it's acting, music, writing, anything, being a poet, whatever you're doing in the artistic realm, people at first look at you kind of weird, like, oh, you think you could do that, like, or because they put you in a when they meet you as an athlete, so they put you in a box and think that that's all that you can do. Like, so what would you say is your after effect from like I said, the 10 to 20 year relationship, all the success in the corporate, and also delving into creativity, finding your lane with the music? What were some things that stood out to you during your journey that you would ingratiate into, your future family as we continue to press forward, and essentially, as we just talked about, just trying to push the culture forward?
Get to know yourself. At the end of the day, it's your life.
Exactly.
You only get one. All right.
One life.
Enjoy your life, man. Have fun.
Yeah.
One thing about me, I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna enjoy my life.
Right.
I'm 31. I don't have any kids. I'm single.
Right. Anything is possible. Yeah.
Shout out to him, man. I'm waiting for my endorsement, by the way.
Right. That's powerful.
That's it, man.
Yeah. Enjoy life.
man.
Yeah.
Have fun, cause you don't want to look back later in life and be like, oh man, what was I doing all this time? Enjoy your life, man.
Right.
For real.
Right. Man, I can attest to that so much. The main thing in my 20s was like, yeah, I played 2 years of arena football. Yeah, I spent so much time trying to figure it out. But I got so many dope and wild and crazy experiences that, like you say, you just can't get back, man. So, yeah, that's powerful. Well, yeah, bro, that's all I had, man. I appreciate you joining for episode 46.
Appreciate you. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, you already know.
Good, I lost the weight, got the braces on.
Hey, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to sauce it up a little bit. Before we end this, the one thing I've been trying to do is pride myself on. 2020 was the weirdest year to date. We've never walked through a coronavirus pandemic. We've never seen so many people pass through racial injustices and through a pandemic as well. So I want to tell you, face up, man to man, that all the accomplishments, all the accolades, I'm super proud of you, bro. I know you was born in Michigan, but we're from Northeastern Ohio. We've been putting on for that place for a long time, and we will continue to do that. So I want to tell you, just face up, man to man. I'm super proud of you. Keep going. Keep putting on for where you're from, for your family. Keep killing it in every endeavor. I support you. I support the creativity, man. I think a lot of guys, a lot of people, they want to be creative, or they may want to delve into that creativity piece, but they be kind of scared of what people gonna think or anything like that. So I support the creativity, man. Keep going. You never know where it'll take you. Like, keep going. Keep inspiring with that. And I want to just tell you that and give you your flowers, man, while we both still here.
Yeah, absolutely. Likewise, man. Keep doing your thing.
Yes, sir.
Podcast is dope. I hope it goes far.
Almost at 50 episodes, man.
Yeah.
Podcast networks. The pitches are coming. I'm telling you, the pitches are coming.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate you for having me on, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Hey, that's all we had, man. So.
Yes,
till next time, peace. Subscribe to LSD TV to become an official member, but you already knew that, where we dig deep and find our hustle, and every single day, we are better than yesterday. Subscribe.